In this tutorial, we're going to use Photoshop CC 2020 to go ahead and create a 9-square collage using clipping masks. So let's go ahead and take a peek. You should have gone through and opened up your assets from Google and unloaded them. When you unzip them, you'll see in your collage images you've got a lot of, I'm in Bridge. You've got a lot of different types of sea life and things, a number of choices that you can use for your collage that we're going to be making here today. So let's go ahead and go to Photoshop. And let's go ahead and go into Bridge and shift to select 9 of these images that we're going to use. So I'm going to go, let's see, there's 5 in a row. So I'm just going to grab the first 9. I'm going to shift select. I'm going to go ahead and drag those into Photoshop. So drag it down into Photoshop. And just drag it here, and it will open all of those individually for me. So I'll have them ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and close this one because we're going to get a lot of windows open. Let's go ahead and start with File New. Oh. Well, maybe File New. File New, and we want to create a new document that is in pixels this time. We want to create 900 pixels wide and 900 high. Let's go ahead and leave our resolution as 300 and say Create. So now we're going to go ahead and we need to create clipping masks. So when we create clipping masks, we're going to go ahead and create a shape that we're going to basically make the object stick to. So let's go ahead first on our file, do File Save As. Let's make sure you're in your correct folder. I'm in first initial, last name, underscore. We're going to call this one 9 Image Collage. And I'm going to get a beep because I've already done this once. And say save. That's really awful. Alright, now I've got my 9 image collage that I'm going to be creating. Let's go ahead and go to our layers panel, go to our background layer. Let's double click it to unlock it. And rename that layer Layer 0. So say OK. So by double clicking, it's going to change that to Layer 0. Alright, so we're going to go with an edit on that background and fill and come down and make it black, which right now is my foreground color, or you can drop down and do black this way. We're going to fill the entire thing with black. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and draw the squares that we need to create for our clipping mask. So we're going to go ahead and grab a rectangle. Today mine is hiding under the custom shape, so there's my rectangle tool. And I want to make sure that my rectangle up here at the top is making a shape, not a path. I want that fill to be white. I want a stroke. You can go ahead and choose a color. I've got kind of a funky brown going right now, so I'm going to choose blue today. And let's make it a stroke weight of 5. And we want it to go ahead and be 0. We want our width to be 300 pixels. And our height to be 300 pixels. Make sure that that is connected and it'll make them the same. Oh, not 3000. I hit tab, it's going to automatically populate that height for me. And then we're going to go ahead and click on the canvas, and it'll create a rectangle for us, and we don't have to drag it. It'll be totally perfect. So say OK. And now I have my totally perfect, awesome square. Grab my move tool, go ahead and move that up to the top and align there. So now the next thing I want to do is select that first square. I'm going to hit Alt and I'm going to drag it over one and right next to it and let go of my mouse, then let go of my Alt so it easily made a copy. And let's go ahead and Alt copy one more time. I'm going to scoot that down just a little tiny bit with my arrows. Oh, still a little bit high. Move it down just a little bit more. Alright, so still high. Alright, now I'm going to need 9 more squares. So I could do the same thing, or I can grab my move tool and grab all 3 of those at once and hit Alt and drag down. Oh, undo. I grabbed the background as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn my background layer off. Go ahead and grab this, hit Alt, bring it down. So now I have 2 rows. And hit Alt and bring it down one more time. Always let go of your mouse first, then your key. So now I have 9 different squares. So if I look over here in my properties panel, or my layers panel right here, you'll see I've got my rectangle one, and then I've got several copies of that rectangle. So now we're going to go ahead and make sure we've got them all. Let's do a Control S so you can save what you've got. Say OK. Now it's really important that each one is a separate layer because we need to do the clipping layers onto different ones. Let's go ahead and click in that first one. It's going to auto select that layer because I've got auto select layer on and my rectangle one. So now I want to go ahead and grab an image. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this fish first. I'm going to grab this fish, I'm going to go up and drag and bring it down over top of my square that I want to put it in. So it's a little bit big right now. If I just hit Shift, it'll let me change the proportion, which I don't necessarily want. So I'm going to hold Shift and hold Shift as I do this. And it's going to go ahead and I'm going to cut off my fish. So I'm going to mess with his proportions a little bit. We're going to make him a little bit of a wonky fish. And now I still have a little bit extra. So I need to go now down. And above this, I need to do a right click. I need to click on that layer with the fish. I need to do Create Clipping Mask. And that's automatically going to clip that image to that area. So now let's go ahead and do number 2. And I just use this fish. I'm going to close that fish. Goodbye, fish. What do I have next? I've got a turtle. All right, let's go ahead and just close the fish. I must close something else. Let's grab the turtle up and drag and bring him in over here. So you can see it's way too big. I'm going to do my hold Shift and drag. Fit him in there. Now if you notice, it's bigger than the image that I've got right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that Control or click on my layer. I'm going to do a right click and Create Clipping Mask. So you're going to go ahead and do that for all of them. So let's go ahead and do a few more. So I'm going to grab the shark, drag it up, bring it down. Oh, and this is going to be a problem. Oh, I didn't. So because I didn't have it above, I didn't select my rectangle first, you're going to see that layer came in up here instead of over what I want to clip it to. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I go above what I want to clip it to. All right, go ahead and resize that sucker. Actually, he's a shark, he doesn't suck. Anyway, and we're going to hit Enter and resize, right click, and Create Clipping Mask. So by creating a clipping mask, it moves it behind. All right, let's go ahead and do a few more. All right, hibiscus, come up. Oh, I did it again. Escape. Undo. Control Z. I'm going to make sure I grab where I want to put it this time so it puts in the right layer order. All right, let's grab that hibiscus, come up, come down. It's huge. Control minus out a whole bunch and see how big it is compared to the rest of it. So clearly I need to resize it and move it around. You might have to zoom out so you can see your artboard more. And I want to go ahead and hit Enter to resize. Let's do a right click and Create Clipping Mask. And zoom back out, Control plus, a whole bunch so I can see it. All right, let's grab that next one. Close our hibiscus, open up beautiful palm tree, come up, come down, really big again, Control minus. Go ahead and resize that. You could resize these before you started. All right, so got that. I'm gonna go ahead and do my right click and convert, no, we want to create clipping mask. Now what you can do with clipping masks is you can actually drag these around in and adjust without having to move your box that you have. So I can get rid of those stupid telephone poles that are kind of ugly. All right, I'm gonna hit Enter. Go ahead, grab one more. So this is not, it's not a super tough process. It's just kind of repetitive at this point. Whoa. right click, create clipping mask. So see how easy that is to create this collage. So once you create these clipping masks, you can really easily change out the images that are here without having to go back and redo everything, which is kind of nice. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, I've got a lizard now with a lizard with a bug. Even better. And I goofed. I didn't put this above the layer I wanted to put it on, so I'm going to drag it down. So drag her down, enter, do my create clipping mask, and we're good. Click on the square I want this time. Goodbye lizard. Hello life preserver. And come down. So, you know, I might choose to put these in different order later, but for now, I'm just making them. So you can kind of pay more attention than I am to what's going where. Because this really would look better up here or down here. Anyway, that's me being picky. All right, and we got some ropes. So let's grab our ropes, lines, ropes. We know it's going to come in big. All right, enter. And do our right click, create clipping mask. Oh, did it wrong. Undo, because I clipped it to something else. All right, right click, create clipping mask. All right, now I've created my 9 squares. I'm going to do Control S and save what I've got so far. So now if you look and see, my colors are kind of goofy. I kind of want to unify them a little bit. So let's go ahead and above this top layer, we're going to go ahead and add adjustment layer. We want to add curves, which is the third one over. And pull that down so you can see it a little bit better. And it will, there's some that are already created. Let's go ahead and try medium contrast. And see how it kind of makes those more even. So you can see if you play with the curves, what kind of happens with those. That's pretty awful. Let's go back and play with something else. So that's negative, here's. So pick one that you like. It kind of brings those colors together a little bit better. And let's do a Control S. So now instead of turning in this collage as a layered file, which is going to be a little bigger, we're actually going to make a flat one. So let's go ahead and go up to Image. Let's come down here to Duplicate. And we want to save the duplicate as, we're going to call it collage instead of collage copy. We're going to call it collage flat because we're going to flatten it. And say OK. So now I'm working in collage flat. I'm going to go up to layer. I'm going to come down here to flatten my image. It's going to say discard hidden. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to do a Control S and save, and that way you're down to one single document for your thing. So that's all you're going to do. And that's all you need to do for this one. So it's a relatively easy process to make a pretty cool thing. Relatively easy, and not have to worry about, okay, I've got to make all my pictures exactly 300 by 300, and it gives you a lot more flexibility as far as those elements are concerned. So that is what you need to do to make a 9 square collage in Photoshop.